What's up, guys? So the Delphic Maxims were sayings and phrases and proverbs that were carved onto the temple of Apollo in Delphi. And so they are said also to be the words of Apollo spoken through the Oracle of Delphi. So we're going to take a look at the maxims and go through them and explain how they can relate to us today. You know what, guys? Let's have fun with that. So people in the Hellenic community, especially people that are new to Hellenism, they always want to know, is there like a 10 commandments, quote unquote, for a guideline to follow to live a better life and honor the gods? And one of the closest things that you can come to when asking for that type of thing are the Delphic Maxims. So as I said at the intro, they were carved on the temple of at Delphi to the temple of Apollo. And again, were said to be the words of Apollo spoken through the oracle that was there. So we're going to go through and do at least 5 a video since there's 147. So doing one a day, that'll get lengthy. And then also, problem about doing one a day is that sometimes, some days, we'll have one that may not really relate to anything because it'll be outdated or just not relevant anymore. Like one of the maxims is control your woman. So see, that one wouldn't work or really fly today. So we're going to go through and at least do probably 5 a video when it comes to this series, because they are worth hearing and they are good when it comes to morals and how to behave and act as a Hellenist. So the first maxim is to follow God, or in our case is to follow the gods. And how do you do that? It would be to live a moral life. So it's kind of an introduction to what the maxims are going to be. So the list is going to give you some ideas of how to follow the gods and how to make life better for yourself and for those around you, to be a helpful person, a spiritual person, and honor the gods at the same time. So to follow the gods, you just need to act quote unquote godly, not to be a saint, not to have your nose in the air, but to be on your best behavior, which leads into the second maxim. So the second maxim is obey the law, and that means the law of the land. To honor the gods and follow the gods, you want to follow the law of the land. Now, does that mean you have to agree with everything that your leaders are saying? No, but that does mean to not break the laws that are set. It's kind of an anti-anarchy stance. So a lot of people may not agree with that, and then again, you'll have other half of people that 100% agree that we should obey the law. So that doesn't mean that you shouldn't fight for a change, but that does mean don't commit crimes, don't murder, do not do arson to prove your point. You want to obey the law, and don't speed. And so it's really helpful to obey the law sometimes. So that's more of what I would say it's talking about. So obey the law, folks. Because going to jail is not going to really answer or solve any problems. It's going to make problems worse. Enough said, as Stanley would say. So number 3 is to respect the gods. That is a very important thing to do. You always want to be respectful and mindful of the gods. You don't want to be disrespectful, speaking about the gods, or not taking care of your altar. I mean, something as simple as that is also a respect to the gods. So if you have old offerings on your altar, make sure to wash and clean. Make sure to always dust and clean your altars, and be respectful to the gods. Don't curse and use their names in a derogatory sense. You know, just be respectful, because they are your parents also in a spiritual way, because without the gods, life wouldn't exist. So, and that follows into the next maxim: respect your parents. So this is one of the hardest ones probably to do. That would be on this list, because some people didn't have great parents, but it doesn't say to love them, but it does say to respect them, that you are here and they are the ones that gave you life. Now, whether or not they did the best or they did the best they could, we have to respect them, because without the parents, just like the gods, we wouldn't be here. So there's always has to be a respect, no matter what they have done to you. You shouldn't really um, be disrespectful, just to put it simply. I don't want to get too complicated because I can go into different paths, but just you always want to honor and respect the parents, if for nothing else, for giving you life, because whether they were good or bad, they are the reason you were here. So final for today is to be ruled by justice. So what does that mean? It means to be fair to people, to not be overly emotional in seeking revenge, but to seek justice, to see things out, and with a level mind, be fair to people. And that's to live by justice, to not get over angered. And that's one for sure that we always need to keep in check and live with, to be a better person so we don't get too emotional, because if we get too emotional, we sometimes won't see things clearly. So we need justice in our life, and we need to be ruled by justice, to be fair and see things balanced without too much emotion. Alright guys, so I hope you guys like the first 5. Again, it's interesting just to see and to know, to say that you know the maxims, or at least have heard them. It's good tips to live by, and some of them again are going to be outdated, and some of them will be kind of funny looking at them. But those were the times that they lived in back then. But so, again, the majority can be brought to today, that we can see as an example of how to behave. Anyway guys, I'll talk to you later. See ya.